Hi guys, this is Ashish. In this small presentation, I'm going to try to make sure that logical reasoning is not a puzzle. Trust me guys, it is not the way we all assume it to be. So this recording is on introduction of logical reasoning. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, I'm going to answer these questions. What is logical reasoning? How many questions are there in this section? How to start preparing for this section? What is the approach? How and from where to begin? I know we all got these questions in our head. People ask me, sir, what is logical reasoning? How many questions are there in this section? How to start preparing for this section? What is the approach? How and from where to begin? Now, I understand it's a little late to come up with this presentation because already on YouTube there are so many information, there are so many videos talking about the same stuff. But then it's a chaos. I will try to answer these questions one by one. So let's understand what is it. Now guys, in logical reasoning for CAT, you got four types of question. Question set is first, you may be one or not first or anywhere. You might be getting logical deduction or syllogism. There are going to be four questions on it. Then you're going to get question set 2 or the second type of question set where it is going to be a puzzle maybe or quantitative reasoning. Again, the number of questions are going to be 4. The third set could be anywhere in the sequence on rankings, team formation and arrangements. Again, you're going to get 4 questions on it. Then you're going to get problem set, Venn diagrams, binary logic. Again, you're going to get 4 questions on it. So all in together, you got 16 questions. Yes. In CAT examination, logical reasoning comes with DI. DI-LR is one section. Data interpretation got 16 questions and logical reasoning got 16 questions. Students can expect 4 non-multiple choice questions in this examination. I mean to say MCQ questions. Why I've mentioned that way, that means out of these 16 questions and 4 questions you are not going to get options. You have to type in the answer. But I want to inform that any question that does not have options also do not have negative marking. Apart from those questions, every question carries negative marking. In CAT, you get +3 for every right attempt and -1 for every incorrect attempt. So you got all in together 16 questions. Now as you can see, these are the types of question. Depending upon your strength and your weakness, you can start focusing on your weakness and try to make your strength even better. This is what the syllabus or this is what you are going to get in the CAT examination. But then guys, I want to tell you that this is an assumption. This assumption is based on the previous experience of mine. Nobody can say that this is 100%. And if somebody is promising that this is 100%, then that person is trying to fool you. I'm sure that this is how it's going to look like, but still I cannot say that 100% it is going to be like this. So you can pause the video here. You can see what kind of questions you're going to get and what the sets are. And every set got 4 questions. Now, rules to keep things simple or how to understand, as I've mentioned in the early part of this recording. Always challenge yourself and stick to the approach that suits you the most. Now guys, in logical reasoning, every person got a different way to solve the question. I remember once I was teaching logical reasoning and I drew a blank, but the student said, sir, do not put a blank, put a cross there. So we all got different way of solving questions and I found it so childish. So guys, we got different approaches to solve any question because there is no fixed way to solve any logical reasoning. Try to go through various ways, but stick to the one which suits you the most. And you only know what suits you the most. Do not try to copy others. Do not try to feel that this makes sense to the guy who got 99 percentile last year, so let me also do the same way. You are a different personality, and based upon your personality, your educational background, and what suits you the best, stick to it. The end result is that the answer should be right. Try to know what is important and not what is provided. Now, in a logical reasoning question, so much of extra information is going to be given and provided to you. Now, as a student, your job is to not to focus on what all is mentioned, but to focus on what all you require to solve the question. Now that comes with practice. Try to solve different kind of questions as I've mentioned earlier and try to see where the examiner is trying to trick you, where the booby trap is set for the candidate to get stuck in the extra information provided. Try to focus on what is needed, not what is provided. Try to know many logical ways. Sometimes many questions can be answered in a particular way. Now, this is the third thing I want to emphasize now. Now, there are many ways to solve a particular question, as I've mentioned it already. Now, depending upon that, there are certain ways for certain questions to be solved that you can understand in the classroom and while solving it online or maybe practicing it. There are many questions, those questions can be solved in a particular way. Try to stick to those ways because it's all about not just getting the answer, but to get the answer in the right amount of time. You cannot invest so much of time in one question. Try to solve questions from many platforms like different books and online material. I always suggest people to try and challenge themselves, as I've already mentioned it earlier. Now, there are various books like Arun Sharma, R.S. Agarwal, and there are other good authors as well. You can also try online material. There are websites which are going to provide you free logical reasoning practice. Just need to Google them. Try to solve different questions from different platforms. That will give you a nice idea about the questions and what you can expect. Always try to challenge or surprise yourself so that in examination you won't be surprised or challenged. Approach logical questions like a puzzle which anyone solves to get entertained. For example, crossword and Sudoku. Now, I'm sure and I hope people know what is crossword and Sudoku. It is in crossword, guys, you have to align the words in a sequence so that the another word is formed. In Sudoku, you have to, in a small box, you have to put 0 to 9 and sometimes 1 to 9 depending upon what the situation is. And you enjoy those. So never solve questions of logical reasoning as it a task. Solve it as it's a puzzle which you are doing it to enjoy. And trust me, if you change your approach, if you change the way you perceive logical reasoning, your performance is going to get way better. There are 16 questions, 4 sets. So depending upon your strength, you will see what needs to be done. Have an approach, have a set target, have a plan for yourself, and that plan and that approach is always going to be different than others because we all humans are different. Do not try to copy anyone. Now, I get this question a lot. How many correct attempts for a good percentile? I suggest keep things simple and focus on getting the concepts right. However, 6 to 8 correct attempts are good enough for more than 95 percentile. Now, that means that you need to, out of 4 puzzles, you should get at least 2 right. And the challenge in logical reasoning is if you're not getting a puzzle right, usually all 4 questions you're unable to solve. But then that's not the case always. So this is the answer. 6 to 8 correct attempts out of 16 questions are good enough for you to push towards 95 percentile. But let me remind you, logical reasoning is accompanied with data interpretation. If you're too good in data interpretation, you can try to cover up. In short, out of 34 questions, 12 to 16 attempts is definitely going to fetch you more than 95 percentile because you are supposed to get 6 to 8 correct questions correct in DI section also. But then the examination does not focuses on individual right questions in logical reasoning and DI because it's one section. So if you are not doing well in LR, you can compensate in DI. If you're not doing good in DI, you can compensate in LR. So make sure that 12 to 16 attempts you should get right to get more than 95 percentile in the CAT examination. I hope this small presentation will try to demystify and try to clarify many doubts. I've tried to keep things simple and I hope things are making sense now more than it was before the recording. If you want, you can listen to this recording again. Thank you, guys.